So both of you are in this cycle of constant arguments and bickering, and you're sick of it. So what can you do to avoid those arguments and start communicating more effectively? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the blueprint on how you can do that. And if you're looking to empower yourself with the right skills, with the right knowledge to turn your relationship around, then you want to subscribe to this channel and make sure to click that bell button as well to be notified when I post new videos 5 days every single week. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Jeffrey and I've dedicated my life's mission to helping you design the dream relationship or marriage that you always wanted. And in this video, I want to address a question from one of my listeners, and the question goes like this. We've been married for 4 years, and to say that the 4 years has been a nightmare is an understatement. We argue at least once per week, and the arguments can go often late into the night, often till 2 to 3 a.m. And all these arguments are just making us feel so hopeless, tired, and I'm so sick of this relationship. How do we make this argument stop? So let's break down how can we actually stop arguments here. What is the mechanics of how arguments begin and how we can stop it? So the first point I want to make here is for you to understand the cycle of arguments. So it often starts with two people having very different ideas about something. Then this one person expresses their ideas, makes the other person really mad. Then that person being mad often makes the other person even more mad. Then this cycle continues all the way until the argument escalates, and before you know it, you guys are screaming and fighting until 2 or 3 a.m. But notice something here, that one person in this cycle always has the power to either break that cycle or perpetuate the cycle. So in this case, let's pretend that one person hears you and your partner is mad. And so you can respond in two ways. You can either respond by getting angry yourself, and if you choose to get angry, then all you're doing is just perpetuating the cycle. But if you can stay calm, if you choose to respond by being calm to that anger, then what you're doing is you're breaking the cycle once and for all. And once you break that cycle, then you have the power to perpetuate a much more positive cycle. And I'll show you how in this video. But for now, just understand that you as a person, you alone, have the power to either perpetuate your arguments or to stop it from the beginning. And so like we said, when it comes to stopping an argument, there's two phases, two skills you need to master here. So the first skill is to be able to stay calm under the face of very intense emotions. Whenever your partner is mad, whenever they're angry, whenever they're resisting, you have the power to decide how you want to react. And if you can't stay calm, then you cannot help but perpetuate that cycle because you will respond by getting angry and you'll naturally just escalate that argument. But if you have the ability to stay calm, then you have the power to actually break that cycle. And so whenever your partner gets mad, it never ever has to escalate into any arguments. And so a lot of couples are stuck in this really bad cycle where every time one of them just gets mad about something, gets angry about something, it always escalates into an argument because neither of them have the skill to break that cycle and stay calm. But if just one person has the power to stay calm, that one person can always break that argument. And you might be thinking right now, like, why do I have to be the one who always breaks that cycle? Well, it's simple, because when you break that cycle, you also make it easier for yourself. So you're not breaking the cycle for your partner here, you're breaking the cycle for yourself, because every single time you argue, you're going to feel more tired, you're going to feel more exhausted, but every time you can have the power to break the cycle, then you're saving yourself from all these heartaches, from all these late nights. And so why put it on yourself to break the cycle? Because it'll make your life easier. So how do we actually stay calm in the face of very intense emotions? Well, there's 5 techniques that I teach all my clients, and we won't get too deep into what these techniques are in this video because it's just one YouTube video, but I'm going to give you a glimpse of what these 5 things are like. So the first technique you can use is you want to get into this mind space whenever this happens, that you want to stop making assumptions and you want to get into this discovery mode in your head. So often when we get really mad at our partner, we feel really angry. What we're doing is we're making a bunch of assumptions of why they're angry, why they're reacting that way. And all these assumptions are just adding fuel to our anger. But once we switch our brain mode to the discovery mode, to say, I wonder why my partner is so mad. I wonder why my partner is always disagreeing with me. I wonder why they're acting so badly right now. Once you get your brain into that discovery mode, then your anger will melt away a little bit. The second technique you can use is to see emotions like clouds. So understand that when someone's emotional, all it means is just that this part of their brain called the amygdala, which is the emotional center of the brain, is just way overactive. And because it's overactive, they're really not themselves right now. So they might say a bunch of mean things, they might say a bunch of hurtful things, but understand that those mean or hurtful things are just very temporary. That if you really understand how to calm those emotions down, then you realize that their emotions are just like clouds. that one moment they might be really dark and stormy, but then 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, they can be sunny and bright again. And once it's sunny and bright, you realize that they meant nothing that they said. All the mean things they said, all the hurtful things they said, they didn't actually mean any of it. And this is just the nature of emotions. You're going to do the same thing when you're angry. So don't take emotions so personally. We often take emotions so personally to the point where if someone's really mad, we cannot help but get ourselves mad because we think that this emotion is such a big deal. But when you start to see emotions as just clouds, then it's much easier to frame that emotion into a better perspective where you don't react adversely or panic whenever someone's emotional. And the third technique is to understand the fact that the best way to fight fire is not by fighting with your own fire. When you have a fire and you want to put out the fire by putting more fire, that's nonsensical. Instead, you want to put out fire with water. So whenever your partner is fire, whenever they're angry, you need to become water, because that's the only way, that's the best way you can quell those intense emotions down quickly. And number 4 is something I call the inside out or outside in approach. So when you're angry, when you're emotional, there's a cycle that happens within your body here. And this cycle can start inside, so inside your head. So for example, you can think of something that makes you angry. Then when you think of that thing that makes you angry, it makes your body angry. You start to feel all these physiological effects of being angry. But the thing is, this bodily effects of being angry makes you think even more angry things, and the cycle perpetuates. So there's this vicious cycle between your inner world, your mind, and also your physiological world where they each kind of feed on top of each other here. So the way you break the cycle is you can focus on 2 parts. Either you focus on the outside-in approach, so you calm down your body first, and then once you calm down your body, you can calm down your mind and perpetuate a more positive cycle. Or you can calm your mind, which then calms your body, and so on. And you can do both. So whenever you find yourself at a position where you feel that anger brewing, just simply breathe. And there's 2 places you need to focus on when you breathe. One is the chest, so expand your chest, relax the chest, and relax the stomach. Those are 2 places where anger is always held. So whenever you expand your chest by deep breathing through your chest or your stomach, then watch all that tension and anger melt away. And once that anger and tension melts away in your body, you'll also find it easier to control your thoughts and calm your thoughts down. And the second thing you can do is to take the inside out approach, which is something called noting. And so in the meditation world, this is a very big deal where whenever you feel very intense emotions, just simply noting the thoughts silently in your heads where you can say, I'm angry right now. I'm feeling very impatient right now. That alone, simply noting alone and simply being aware of your thoughts alone can actually lower those emotions very intensely. And so you can try this approach where you can start your calming down either internally in your mind or externally where you are calming your body first. And the last one here is to understand how to reframe your mind to see intense emotions or to see conflicts not as a problem, but as opportunities. The main difference between a good couple and a bad couple here is that a bad couple, whenever they have a conflict, whenever they see a problem, or whenever they have their partner be very intensely emotional, they see it as a problem. They see it as a threat. So they see it as the end, basically. But in a good couple, they see it as opportunities. And it's an opportunity to not only, 1, discover the real problem, the root problem in the relationships, and to resolve it. But number 2 is to see intense emotions as an opportunity to build even more emotional safety in the relationship. And if you don't know what emotional safety is, then you want to click the link above my head to watch that video. But basically, whenever you react to your angry partner in a very calm way, what you're creating is a bunch of emotional safety. You're showing your partner that, hey, you can express your emotions, you can express your problems in this relationship, and I'm not going to act badly to it. And as you build that openness, what you'll find over time is that the problems get less and less intense over time. Because as you let your partner express their emotions more often over time, because they feel more open to express their emotions because they know that whenever they express their emotions, it's not going to end badly, then you start to heal those emotional baggages. You start to let out all that pressure, all that steam in gentle streams instead of an explosion. And again, if you don't know what emotional safety is, then this is not going to make sense to you. So make sure to watch that video on emotional safety if this confuses you. So those are the 5 techniques you can use to really calm yourself down during those very intense moments. So leave a comment below which of these techniques will you start using to start calming yourself down during these very heated moments. And then once you stay calm, once you can stay calm yourself, then you are in a position to break the cycle. But what you can do now is to perpetuate a much more positive cycle by understanding how to lead a conversation. So how to begin a conversation, how to progress it, and how to end it in a way that never ever leads to any intense arguments. And there's 4 things you can do here. And if you want more details on this, the exact step-by-step details on this, then you want to click the link above my head as well and watch that video, because that video will really break down the step-by-step way of how you can start, progress, and end conversations that never leads to arguments. But I'm going to give you the cliff notes here. So number 1, whenever you're about to have a very intense conversation with your partner, always try to start that conversation with a nonverbal touch. And the reason why this is so effective is that nonverbal touch, so simply holding their hands or embracing them first before starting the conversation, can actually soften both of you up, because it releases a lot of hormones in your body, primarily oxytocin at this point, that really calms you down. And when you do it properly, when you hold their hands properly or when you embrace them properly, you will really realize that your own body and your partner's body will soften. You know, their breathing will soften, they will speak softer and so on. And once both of you are softened enough, then what happens is your guards will be a lot lower. And when your guards are lower, then it makes it much easier for you to initiate a conversation. You know, it's really hard to initiate a conversation when both of you are still very high strung, but that nonverbal touch will really soften you up. And the second stage here is to progress the conversation with open-ended questions. And there's 2 forms of questions you need to ask. The first question you can use to start the conversation. So you can say, hey, tell me how you feel. Tell me what you're thinking. And if you're bringing up a problem on your own, then you can add something before that to say, hey, I noticed you did X. I noticed you forgot dinner. Tell me more of your thoughts on that. And once you ask that question, then your partner will say something. So once you say, tell me your thoughts, they will say something. Then you're going to use the method I call repeat, paraphrase, or clarify. And it just sounds like this. So if I understand you correctly, you're saying X. Can you tell me more about that? Tell me your thoughts on that. Tell me more of your thoughts on that. I want to know more. So you're continuously digging for more information there to go deeper and deeper and deeper into your partner's psyche. And the reason why we want to do this is that whenever there's an argument, it's always usually between 2 people with differing ideas that they can't resolve. So you would think something is right and your partner thinks something is right. And as long as you're stuck in this black or white view here, you can never come to a resolution, ever. But if you take it upon yourself first to discover, why does my partner think whatever he thinks is valuable? Then you're in a good position to start breaking that cycle. Because remember again that whatever your partner thinks right now, whatever his beliefs are, whatever his opinions are, there's a really good reason why he's believing those things. And right now you don't know what that reason is that makes him think that whatever idea he has is good. So you want to investigate that first. And as you investigate that, 2 things happen. One is you will actually soften your partner a bit more, because when your partner feels that you're actually in here to discover, not just to impose your ideas on your partner, then their guards will go down and they'll begin to soften as well. And the second thing it does is it allows you better understanding. And when you think you have this really good understanding, then you can move to the last step here, which is when you're summarizing why your partner thinks something is valuable. So you can say something like, okay, so you think X, Y, and Z, and your partner will either agree with you or disagree with you. And if your partner disagrees with you, that means you haven't gotten his reasoning right. Then you just want to keep going. Oh, so you don't think I'm right? Can you tell me more about that? So you go back to step 2, the discovery stage here, whenever your summary is wrong. But when you get your summary right, then just simply say to your partner, okay, gotcha. I understand things from your point of view now. And this will put you in a really, really good position to move into the last stage here, which is when you're giving your recommendation. And you're in a good position now because you've really softened your partner at this point. And also you understand things from both perspectives now. You understand your own perspective and you also understand your partner's perspective. And so whatever recommendations you make will be a lot more impactful and will be received a lot better than if you just gave your recommendation right from the get-go. But notice here that the conversation should resemble like that of a ping pong match or a tennis match, where you first take it upon yourself to discover the perspective of your partner first. And once you understand their perspective, then you give your own perspective. And the structure will make for a much more amicable discussion. And usually, if you do it right, will lead to much, much less arguments. And even sometimes if you do it really right, if you really master this, it will never ever lead to arguments. But again, it's impossible for me to outline the exact steps for you in just one YouTube video. So if you're interested in a resource where I'll walk you step by step through this process of how you can begin, progress, and end the conversation in a way that never ever leads to arguments, then you want to get access to my free training where we walk you through that step-by-step process. And if you're interested in that training, then you want to click the link in the description box below this video. And if you're looking for a place where you can post a question about any concerns or issues in your relationship and actually get really good advice on it, then you also want to join our free Facebook group where you can do exactly that. And tell us what you're struggling with. What are you struggling with in your relationship that you need help on? And leave a comment below. And I'll try my best to respond to your comments as soon as possible or make a new video out of your comments. And if you found this video helpful, then give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this one. But in the meantime, I will see you in the next video.